In this video, I'm looking at this data here, which shows the business shirts sold on one day of varying prices. It's asking us to represent this data in a scatter plot and comment on any correlation. So a scatter plot, if you remember, is a graph that looks like an XY graph, but it just has a bunch of dots. And those dots are each one of these pairs of coordinates. So the first thing I'm wanting to do is actually draw up my axes and then number them. So the horizontal axis is going to be my price, and then my vertical axis is going to be the number of shirts sold. So my price ranges from 14 up to 35, so I'm going to start there. So let's have a look at 14. We could probably go up in twos and then be fine. So 14, 16, 18. Make these a bit further apart, like this. Start off at 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, and 36. Okay, that's my horizontal axis, that's my price in dollars, and then my vertical axis is going to have the number of shirts sold, and it goes from 1 all the way up to, what's the most, 25. So I'm going to see if I can number these in ones. So I've got 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Could have got to 25, don't I? So 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Okay, and that's the number of shirts. Okay, so that's my two axes, and now I just basically take my points and I plot them on the graph. So I can just simply work from left to right and plot them as coordinates. So I have 14, 20, so 14, 20, the first point, 18, 25, so 18, 25, 20, 18, 20, 18, 21, 16, so 21 is halfway between 20 and 22, we want 16, it's about there, 24, 10, 24, 10, 25, 10, 25, 10, 28, 15, 28, 15, 30 and 8, 30 and 8, 32 and 5, 32 and 5, and 35 and 1, 35 and 1. Okay, so that's our scatter plot done. So it's just a plot of all of the data points as single points. Don't join them together, just put them on put the axes in and plot them as points. Okay, the last part is we've been asked to comment on the correlation. So correlation is basically seeing if it's strong, weak, no correlation, somewhere in the middle. Even looking at the slope, is it positive or negative? So if we think about strength, the strength is based on how the graph, how close together the points are. So this would be strong because the points are really nice close together. We can see a trend. Then we can have a weak, say if we can still see a trend, but the points are more sort of spread out. So this would be weak. We can still see there's a trend of a positive slope there, but the points are more spread out. And then lastly, you'd have no correlation, where the points are just rubbish, they're just spread around, so that's nothing, no correlation. So what we have here is probably weak. It's not really strong. The points are rather far spread apart. We can see there's a negative trend though, which makes sense. A lot of people are not going to want to buy a more expensive shirt if a cheaper one is available. And it also makes a sense that this isn't going to be a strong correlation between price and the number of shirts you sell, because even though an expensive shirt might sell less than a cheap shirt, maybe the expensive shirt has better quality, maybe certain people like the design of this shirt. So there's a lot of things that can go into why this wouldn't be so strong. And you can even see it's not so strong if we put a bit of a straight line through it that sort of represents the trend. There's a lot of distance from the line of some of these points. Some of them are really close, but there's a lot of spread still. So I'm going to say this is a weak, or at least medium of strength. So I'm going to call this medium or weak strength.